And just like that, we are live. So, is a big night, big conversation. Is the conversation we've been meaning to have for the past 2 months. Bubba, get away from the drinks. You cannot have that.
Take that to his father. Demonetized over that. Talk about drinking on the
Because if it's in the first minute, you get demonetized immediately. Swearing, drinking, anything like that. Demonetization. Gore, anything.
within the first minute.
Yep.
Okay. I see you.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Okay. So how you enjoying the Texas weather?
It sucks.
Is it too hot for your britches, or it's too cold for something else? Hey, I said something else. You know what I'm talking about.
Get your disgusting feet off my back. I already have sores open. I don't want to get infected.
You sound like you're showing
You have dirty black feet because the floors are so dirty.
Hey, I clean them next time.
They're still dirty.
What's for dirty? It's called floor.
As I said, I have open sores on my back. I don't want to get infected because they will, and I don't want to go through that crap. No. That was loud. I'm sorry. In your face. Who dat? Mm-hmm. Oh, I know that. I know that person. Sorry, hon. Shout out to In Your Face. That's her. That's her account.
I know. Well, you did the in your face.
That's her name.
Oh,
That's her name.
that's her actual name.
That's her
In
name.
your face.
In Your Face. Can you go put up the food real quick, please? I'll hold your food. I promise I won't eat it.
Should I trust that?
I'm not gonna eat it. You have my word. Sorry, I had to send the link to a few other people who've been dying to see these streams. My coworkers. I told them that as soon as we get internet, we have this big conversation and stuff. I'll send the link. Kids die for free.
Oh, that wasn't done.
I do them. Here, but we won't. See,
Oh,
see,
hey,
see it
I'm
now.
set.
Now, now,
Set.
now. I'm not either.
I've done it before.
It was like
sucks.
10. It was like 10:30. It's like, where's Tree?
Apparently it's a diamond thing. That's pretty though.
That are pretty. I would not do that one for you. I'm sorry. That one's too intricate.
Yeah, Hades and Magara.
Dirty
You
on
were
my
just
phone.
complaining about how dirty my feet were, sir.
It's fine.
You are confusing. Oh, dude. I got more. Yeah. Jasmine Jafar. Those are pretty good stuff.
No. No. Needs to be beast.
Well, I mean, I think it's villain versus. Of course, it needs to be the beast.
No, I mean Gaston is the beast.
But yes, dude. Hey, there's fire.
Yeah, that one's cool.
I don't know if that's Mufasa or
That.
Simba. Simba.
Anyways, we're back. I know it's been a while. I think the last time that you guys have heard from us was St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, it was St. Patrick's Day because we played Marrowcrat.
Yeah, where you were fucking drunk.
Yep. So, our Tree and gentlemen, you want to say hellos?
Hello.
This is Game Boy number 1. That's the Tree, and this is Game Boy number 2.
That's a gay tree.
Well, first off,
I was called today that triggered me.
what?
Back then, they couldn't say tree, so they called me Trey.
Ew.
I was like, never call me that nickname again.
My partner's spamming trees.
Tree.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Tree, the gay tree.
Anyways, as I said, it has been a while. It's been a very hectic couple months. So I'm gonna get the main big announcement out of the way, and we're gonna discuss the reasons for what we've done. Damn, I'm out of red big.
Big red.
I don't think it's gonna like being out here, Tree.
College Ed. Yeah.
And me and Nick will give ours. So, the biggest news that we have is that we have moved in together.
Best thing ever.
Best thing ever. Trevor just celebrated his 24th birthday, and this is the first birthday in years that had no drama.
Good day.
And then his car died. Trying to keep him home from work.
Wait, but my car's up and running. I just can't go 50 miles an hour right now.
Good. That's pretty.
That's Belgium. His
I could
Just
tell.
for the fact that I was trying to see how my car does.
Oh yeah, no. I don't blame you.
And then I also got to replace 2 lug nuts. Have to get a new key because they broke it. But
They broke your key?
Aww.
I have to get a new key, and I'm like, I'm gonna just get regular nuts. No nuts.
No, I guess the most important thing, Pride Month to y'all.
Hey, you know the yes, he's a tree, right? Squirrel likes their nuts for winter. He's getting on the
So, back,
Sorry.
oh gosh, how many years ago was it now? 2 years?
I'm gonna say 2.
roughly 2 years ago. Actually, I could look up something else. Hold on, because I have video. I have a video from it. Hold on. I have. Yeah, 2 years ago, 2023. Us three, and it's four of us, but one of our roommates obviously is not wanting to partake with us, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's in bed. He has to get up early. I did ask him if he would like to partake, and originally he said yes, but due to the time of me cooking dinner and everything, he said no. I was like, it's fine. I understand. So, um, us four live together. Very nice house. And yeah,
That was ADHD. It's rough, sir.
it has been kind of rough moving everything because you don't think you have a lot of stuff, but the moment you move shit, that's when you find you have so much shit.
Yeah.
I believe in total we collectively use roughly like 57 boxes.
More than that.
No, I'm talking about ones from my work. From my work, we use roughly 57 boxes, and in total we've used roughly 132 altogether.
I had like 60 some boxes all by myself when I was. Had another in the kitchen. We used probably roughly over three, close to 400 boxes.
Close, probably.
Yeah.
So, um, great thing about this house. It's a big house. It's a six-bedroom one. Two of the bedrooms are downstairs, and we've converted those. One's an office, and the other one, which is something that I've been talking about wanting for years, is I finally have a music room, and it's a music art room. So I get to write music, and
I get to paint.
Nick gets to paint, and if I want to paint too, then yeah. And if he wants to make music, yeah. It was originally going to be the streaming room, the music and streaming room, and the office was going to be the office. And then we were talking about having an art room, and I was like, why don't we just move? Why don't we just have the office be a spare bedroom office, and the music room be music and art? So there is multiple reasons why we moved out. More so on their half, plus my half as well. But besides that, there is another conversation that I'm going to be having about this whole move thing, because it ties into it. But dear God, this was a very, very stressful event. These past months have kind of sucked, but among the suckage have also been some really great moments with great friends and great people. I think the main thing that I want to say really quick as for great updates was the fact of Nick was just promoted at his work, because whenever they were talking last time, they were both part time. Tree is working on getting full time. I'm of course still part time because I only work 2 days there. If I could drive, then I could take on more stores. That'd be full time. But I'm fine being part time. It makes decent hours. It makes really good pay. So, yeah. But for the most part, yeah, we're great. So I'm going to let Tree spearhead his side, and if there's repeats of things, it's just because it was that bad. Um, as many of you know or can remember, these two chuckleheads, they used to live in a decent house with a horrible, horrible person, and I do not like slandering people. That's not the point of this, but it's just we all agreed that if we're gonna talk about this, we're gonna do it like we did 2 years ago with the whole first podcast we did. That was very serious subject matter, and this one is also kind of serious subject matter. But yeah, this is more so that way you guys don't fall into the same things that we fall into. Because yeah, the person they lived with, I would never wish this upon anyone, not even my worst enemy. So Nick and I have drinks. Tree, unfortunately, will not be drinking as he has to get up early, which is fine. I also have to get up early. I gotta get up by 7. Yep. Speaking of which, hun, if you come over in the morning, my door is gonna be unlocked. Just come in and wake me up, please. But yeah, so we've been meaning to have this conversation for a couple months, and it was going to be last month, but our internet provider decided to say fuck you, and they moved our date to this month, and then they set it for a Monday, and I can't do Mondays, and these guys are busy, so I set it for another day, and then they set it for the following week on a Monday, and then they wouldn't ever answer my phone. I would be on hold for 30 plus minutes, and then my phone would hang up on. So we went with another company, and due to other things, I was dumb, and I thought that we wouldn't have enough money to cover it because I knew I wasn't going to be able to cover it alone. So I moved the date to today, and come to find out, no, that I would have been able to have the help, but I couldn't change it back. So yeah, we're here now, and it's great. It's so nice to have internet again. I do plan on doing more streams soon. I'm going to get back into it. I miss streaming. Anyways, Trevor, I will let you explain your side for everything that's gone wrong living at that old place. Start back as far as back as you want, from when it started living there, and then go until here. Get off my switch.
Well,
And go until up till we left. You might want to get closer over on this side with Nick.
I have an update with that person. I today was received a text message saying that my birthday gift has arrived. So sometime this week, which probably Saturday, I will be going over to get my birthday gift.
Go closer to me. You're like at the very bottom.
Very bottom.
There you are.
Oh.
Actually, wait, you say something.
hello.
Yeah, you're fine. Look, your boy by wanted his chair.
But yeah, I gotta go get the birthday gift.
Much better.
Probably Saturday after I get off from work. But
How funny would it be if I showed up to get your gift? I know I saw that earlier.
well, she was like, is your location or anything else? I really don't want to, and I don't got car at the moment.
No, you will meet her at her house.
Glad to read it.
Him too.
Okay, so that basically all started to a point where
It all started with a dumbass meet another dumbass, and then meet another dumbass. It became the dumbass trio. Oh my boy.
so I guess the major part that started it all is when we couldn't invite people over, and it really ticked me off to the point where I didn't want to talk to her that much.
More so me. I couldn't come over.
And as many times as they apologized, it was just very terrible and chaotic.
Sorry. I forget I can do sounds.
I forgot that too.
Well, it's been since March.
Why do you get to be the Night Fury? Why are you the Night Fury?
I got the mask upstairs. I'm at the
Well, he does.
You're the Zippleback.
The fact you know all the dragon names shows how much of a nerd you
I don't
love it.
remember this
are. I
one
love it.
from the second one. I don't think they mentioned it by name.
Anyways, Trevor.
Anyway, what about you?
Oh, it's gonna happen a lot.
So
That's how it always goes.
yeah.
Who's ready for Spaceballs 2?
Me.
I haven't seen the trailer
I have. If you said you hadn't seen the first one, I was gonna hit you because yes, the hell you have.
yet. Yes, I have.
Watched it together. I haven't either.
Well, yeah, they came to a point where
I'm spilling my drink.
we no longer have friends over. I'm trying to be loud so they can pick me up.
I don't know why it's not picking you up. It picks me and Nick up fine. I've
Hello.
done this to you.
That's because I'm loud.
Hello.
Yeah, I just think you have to be a bit louder.
Yeah, you gotta be loud,
Not
mister.
yelling, but like.
Yeah, I gotta do my artificial voice, I think.
It's okay because people through the drive-thru can't hear me either.
Granny ass bitch. Where's your cup? You ain't even drinking.
Yeah.
This is my third.
That's
Sir.
I'm kidding. This is my first.
I was about to say, what the hell did you drink 2 drinks back to back?
So can't no longer have no friends over. So drama started. Didn't want to get involved, so I just started going in my room and all that. And she was like, "Well, boo, why you don't spend more time with me?" And I'm like,
Stop! I'm trying to. You can sip it.
I'm like, I don't want drama. I hate drama. And I made her feel terrible because I kept having her reminding her how many times she messed my birthday up with drama. And then that's when we seriously started to pack for a house.
So you want to tell them what the fucking excuse you guys used was? Because that was brilliant.
Yeah, because my excuse to her was, oh yeah, we're just rearranging the house at the moment.
And she bought it.
Big time, and I'm like, wow.
At least, I will say this, at least with us drinking for this conversation, I don't think it's going to be as much as it was for the other conversation we had. Oh yeah, me and Nick are getting cats because we have some. My mom has some little stray kitties, and they're black.
Even up to date on everything.
They're
Mine's
black.
a floofy black kid.
Void. Yeah, he's getting a void, and I'm getting one that looks like he's gray and white.
So we actually were discussing names, and next thing you know, I look at the Art the Clown door tapestry we got, and I was like, Sienna. And he was like, Art. I'm like, yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna call my boy Arthur, but we're gonna call him Art for short.
Yeah, and there's way too much drama. And it got.
God
so,
damn, my burp was louder than you. The fuck?
Mine's dead.
I wish I could. Yeah, I know. I wish I could get it. They've been at my neighbor.
Oh yeah, and there was so much drama. I don't know all of everything that happened, but it was bad. And it takes a lot for me to actually blow up on somebody, and it got to that point, to the point where I'm like, it's just best for me to move. So
How long did you live there? That for both of you or just you?
2 to 3.
Now 4. Because you moved in the same year as me, just a little bit later. Because you moved down there in June, I had moved down there in March. But we stayed a total of 4 years each. A little bit longer.
Because when was it?
It was
21.
2021?
Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, about 4 years.
I knew it because I kept track of it.
Well, yours was 4 years. His was technically 3 because he didn't make it to June.
It was actually 4.
Actually, it was July.
July. My
Yeah.
bad. So yeah, a little bit less. I still round up. Ew! He kissed my Nevis.
What?
Profanity.
And then
Disney.
it got to the point where she was like, "Are you leaving just because of me?" And I was like, "Well, I did make a promise with him to where he goes, I know, but I didn't tell her the full story." I'm like, "Oh yeah, her moving away because of you and negativity." She still doesn't know that.
No, but as I said, wait, hold on. Yeah, she doesn't know about that laugh track. But no, as I said, I made it my damn goal. Before I left, I wanted them to come move in. I wanted them to get out of that house because I was like, I'm not going to leave you guys there. Because, no offense, but without me there, something would have happened. Like, yes, I know you guys have been able to hold yourselves fine for years without me, but
It got to the point where
it got to the point where
we needed you.
that yeah, they needed me. Otherwise,
Somebody was going to jail.
yeah.
And somebody else was going to die.
It's most likely you. Because I stayed away from her. Once I started ignoring her, I was good for the most part. I hated being around her.
For a person who don't know how to use an oven and microwave and all this kind of stuff, and you had to teach you how to use it to the point where, oh, I don't know what's wrong with my computer, okay.
Well, she wanted everybody to do everything for her.
Elizabeth, talk about the door.
Oh yeah, and then her mom comes down and we're trying to hurry and leave, and we got out just in the nick of time.
Nick.
Hold on.
Wait. I don't know if it is. Fuck. Um, I think it might be that one.
Hopefully.
I don't know. It might be 9377. So I'll try both of those real quick. I know it's on here. I just forget which one it is.
Hold on.
And then apparently, because I showed her how to change her door handle, because it's one of those fingerprint battery pack door handles.
It's not difficult.
It's not difficult. You just unscrew one screw, replace the batteries, put it back in, screw it back together. Well, apparently she didn't do that and was getting frustrated being a little kid. So it was rather she drove the door before her mama did, and her mama was like, "It's my house. I'm gonna do it before she does it," and it was so messed up that they had to get a new door frame.
Neither that, but they called his ass to see if he could fix the door. And then as soon as he got there and saw that, he's like, yeah, no, I cannot fix this.
And this was all happening on my break,
Yeah.
on my 1 hour break.
Yeah. So, I wish Nick did what he's going to do. Originally, he told me, he's like, oh yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock up my door. Back. He's like, I'm going to lock my old door. I'm going to move everything out. I'm going to lock the door, and I'm going to slide the key underneath the door. He was going to. However, he couldn't do that because her mom ended up being like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna stay in his room." This chick has then proceeded to turn all the old rooms into extra gaming rooms and streaming stuff. She still streams on TikTok and she's claiming to be a quote unquote SCP and everything and wears a skull mask and yeah, it's just
Stupidity.
stupid. I don't like calling people stupid, but she warrants this one. I mean, this is the same person that we had the argument about getting your cats fixed does not make your boy cat suddenly a female cat. And then play the card of essentially my body, my choice, but it's my cat's my choice. And then proceeded to text AI asking about this. And the AI is like, oh yeah, that's not cool. You should call the police and talk to them.
And slandered us on TikTok.
Oh yeah, she slandered us hard.
And then called the Gandhi number, then got transferred to the police, and the police was like, yeah, we can't do nothing.
And it's funny too, because I love how she's like because are you done essentially?
Yeah.
Cool. Then I'll get into my half for this. Because as Trevor said, yes, friends were banned. More so me, because she did not like me. I spoke my mind. I called her out for her bullshit. And I called her exactly like our abusers, mine and Nick's, because she acts the exact same way as them. Yeah, and Trevor's the middle person. I don't like him being the middle person, and he was made middle person again.
Actually, it depended because sometimes I was the middle person, sometimes Trevor was.
Yeah.
Well, I had to intervene whenever you got physical with her.
So I'll explain more on my side here in a bit because mine is more in depth. But yeah, she just did not like me because of that crap. And after the last major fight, she stopped talking to me and everything. I was like, cool, I'm done talking to you. I'm done with your bullshit. The reason why I was done with her bullshit was because one night, one of our other friend that lives with us and his fiance, I told this chick, I was like, hey, I want to help you get better at your social cues because I got some tattoos, my very first one, and she just made everything very uncomfortable and was making too much sexual jokes and being very immature.
She even got to the point where she bit her own tongue just to draw blood.
Yeah.
And then she would spit the blood into a shot glass and then drink it.
Yeah.
Want to talk about uncomfortable? That's uncomfortable.
So she, I just mentioned to her, I was like, I want to help you get better at the social cues thing because, you were homeschooled. I don't think you know them that well. And she agreed. Well, then I was trying to find all my notes and shit. Well, then our friend's fiance was like, "Oh yeah, I could do it. No big deal." And this chick was like, this chick asked her, "Hey, Bree, can you do this? Because you're a girl, 101." No one told me shit, so I was pissed. And yeah. So come to find out, this was not a good thing. It was not helpful. She treated our other roommate and his fiance horribly. No Valentine's Day because that was this year. But our roommate's partner has a child who is 3, and their former roommate was saying, "Oh yeah, you should come over one night and get high, and we'll get the child a sugar high." Here's the problem: the child doesn't like being away from her mama. That child does not like being away from home. These guys have had knives and everything on display, and God forbid something happened, and yeah. So after hearing all that, I was pissed. I was gonna let it go, but then she started slandering our roommate behind his back, and I was like, you ain't doing that." And then she also was asking Bree to come get her one night. She's like, "Oh yeah, I just can't stand it here. Let's go to the bar. Let's go party." And Marie's like, "No, I got church." And then she started to slander church, and she's like, this, fine, just keep your church, blah blah blah. And she's just being hateful. After
She expected everything to be about her. Screw what anybody else wanted or what anybody else needed to do. If she wasn't put first, then you were on her enemy list.
And you know, she's a quote unquote Satanist. Sing me a song, you're the kitty man. The cat didn't like her.
No,
Oh, he never.
That's why I think that's the reason why he doesn't like me is because that one time where we were actually bonding was the day that I was yelling my face off at her because she was being an idiot. Anyways, so yeah, because of all that crap, it just spiraled. And it spiraled hard. Because as soon as I found out about all that, I barged into her room and I told her, we're done. I was like, I'm done putting up with you. Zach and Brie are done with you too, especially because that shit you did for the whole getting the child a sugar high. We're done. And she threw a fit, unplugged the router, and Nick was not having any of it. So he shut off the heater. Or was it
No.
the AC?
I turned on the AC.
Oh yeah, because she doesn't like the cold. He locked the AC.
No, I figured if she wants to be petty, I could be petty too.
Because the problem was the router was in her room.
So if she had a problem with someone and she decided to take it off, well, we all had to suffer. No, I had a talk with her later on about it. I said, that is not okay. You cannot do that with a child around. And I got my girl and her daughter into it. Because my girlfriend is beautiful, smart, funny, the most amazing woman ever.
Someone clip that right now. Clip that right now. Send it to me. Send it to me.
She's treated her daughter as an equal, and her daughter is smart beyond her years.
Oh, speaking of which,
And she
we-
decided one day.
speaking of which, we finally got to meet her daughter. They came down recently, and that was the best. That was the best little meet and greet that we had, and it was so nice to finally get to meet her daughter.
But she decided that just because my girl's daughter does not want anything,
Put it in the fridge. You'll have it for lunch.
doesn't want anything to do with getting high or getting drunk, even though she knows exactly what those is, she decided to slander her, calling her a controlling mother, as if Pandora didn't have her own choices.
You going to bed?
And
Night tree.
then she proceeded to
Bye-bye.
Night tree.
call Pandora stupid, which I was not having it. I was set off.
Pause. Say good night.
Good night.
Thank you. She also called Bree's child stupid.
Yeah, 3-year-old for.
A 3-year-old.
She also said that I asked her, what would you do if you had kids and you were to get high? Oh, I'd lock them in my room and leave them there.
Oh yeah.
Or I'd lock them in a room and leave them there.
She said that.
I was like, really? Like, because if you're a parent, you're supposed to be more responsible. She is older than all of us, by the way. She's in her 30s, almost. And she thinks with the attitude of a teenager. No, not even a teenager. Some teenagers I have seen that are smarter than her.
A Gen
And
Z teenager.
she wants so badly to be cool and popular. That's all she thinks about or cares about.
I mean, keep in mind for your baptism, she did go live, and then for the rest of the time, she was playing Pokemon Go in the church.
Yeah, she has no respect for Christianity. She'll take any chance to slander it, and then she gets mad whenever we have a go at what she believes in. I'm
Oh,
like, why
trust
would
me.
you do that?
One night when I did not feel comfortable, it was the same night actually. Whenever she was talking bad about Zach behind his back and everything else, I quite literally was praying by myself, and it takes a lot for me to get to praying. But I did not feel like it was good enough just for me, so I wanted to pray for us three for protection. And I never once mentioned her. And all we hear from her room is, that just proves my point that all Christians are hateful people. It took everything in me that night to go home. Because I was having to go in there. This, you know how the whole thing is with sage. You burn some, and if you get headaches, what's the demons? This woman hated this chick hated sage.
She hated Bibles. Whenever someone touched her with a Bible, she'd act like she was dying.
Yeah, and then as I said, she also she hated sage. And one night we burned it. We did it under her door. Here's the thing, though. She immediately blames Nick. And, obviously I wasn't going to, we weren't going to say, oh yeah, no, that was me doing it right under your door, because obviously she would get even more mad. We said, no, that was me doing it, and we were doing it throughout the house because something stunk. And it just happened to creep on your door. Here's the problem with hers. I lit this son of a bitch, and it would kind of go out, but there was a certain spot under her door where the shit would reignite.
And sage is the thing. Now, I won't have anybody believe what they don't want to believe, but I believe in magic, and sage is a part of that. You use it to drive away negative energies, negative spirits, negative anything that's unholy or evil in nature, or relatively bad. With her, the sage would literally burn faster, which is a sign that there's severe negative energy, and it started smoking out the house. And we had windows open and everything.
It was so bad that one night Trevor was literally saging it, and because she was just sitting there in the living room. She wouldn't leave. She had her audiobook on and everything. She was just sitting there. And it got to the point where, originally we were feeding her food, but it got to the point where if I'm over there and I'm making food, I'm not feeding her.
She didn't even know how to cook. Like I said, she expected everybody to do everything for her. She didn't.
You two stopped cooking for her.
She got to, her version of cooking was literally just getting some frozen and putting it on the stove, which is good and all that. But even then, she did things harmfully just because she couldn't find oven mitts. She wanted to touch a burning hot pan.
And then instead of asking me, she would just freak the fuck out and be like, "Oh, fine, I'm doing myself." And she's almost burned herself multiple times on the oven or the grill because she couldn't find oven mitts because she would never ask. We spent so many hours in that kitchen remodeling it. And we told her, if you need something, you're to ask one of us. If you cannot find it. Because we're tired of this bullshit of you almost burning yourself or hurting yourself. And, yeah. But, excuse me. It was just horrible. She was literally the worst. But as I was saying about the sage thing, she was sitting out there, wouldn't leave. And so I said I wasn't going to go cook until she left. And then Nick joined, followed suit. And then Zach and Bree came in too. And we're like, Trevor was the only one out there. I was like, we're not going out there. I was like, we're not going out there until she leaves. So we gave Trevor sage. He went around the entire house, and every time he got closer to her, it would reignite and burn faster and burn more and more smoke. She finally took the hint after 10 minutes of this and left. Whenever I went out there, I was the first one out there. Trevor was covered in smoke. It was really, really bad. Excuse me. But, yeah.
It's funny because everybody who ever met her all said the exact same thing, that they were uncomfortable around her. that they had a bad feeling, a bad vibe, that she just came off as narcissistic and hateful and all that. And I'm all like, yeah. Um, like I originally became her friend because I thought that, hey, you know what? I don't have very many friends. I felt bad for her. I thought she might not be as bad as what people.
Why didn't you come find me? I would have been your best friend. No, you had a no, you had to wait a couple years.
Yeah.
That was rude. How dare we're not friends anymore.
Indeed.
I kid.
But
We've already had our fight. You ain't going nowhere. You've seen and know too much and heard too much, especially that last part.
but I thought, what the hell? Give it a chance. And the fact that she was so very, very entitled, like she was owed the world,
And that's the thing.
it pissed me off. 'Cause
Her parents are the nicest people, and they're very frugal with their money. Like anything they have extra, they sent to her, and she would just bash them because they're quote unquote horrible people, and they didn't give her anything. And I'm like, bitch, this house is theirs. You live here. You pay a little bit of rent.
They would literally buy her whatever she wanted. Didn't matter the price. I once asked her, why don't you just get something that's not so expensive, that's usable, that looks good? She was like, no, because I deserve the best of the best. And I'm like, um, this just goes to show that you never had to work for anything in your entire life.
I mean, she did technically have a job. I don't know if she still does, but we did.
No.
Oh, we did. She doesn't. Yeah, we did overhear that. She was put on leave, like on break because she was arguing with her bosses and shit. Her mother made her go find a job because her parent. I mean, it's fair because her parents lost their source of income, which was these two, and because this bitch was just like, oh yeah, hey, I don't like using that word, but it describes her perfectly. She is a bitch. Sorry, hon, but she was just saying, "Oh yeah, no, it's because they don't like me because I'm homeschooled, and if I wasn't homeschooled, they'd actually hire me and everything." And I'm just like, "No, it's because you're an argumentative little twat bag waffle who doesn't know how to shut up and actually just listen. You don't take criticism very well either because you just throw it back in everyone's face."
Yeah, because she took me. I was the main villain in her story just because
Put
I
it back.
tried to give
I'm not gonna
her.
bite you. I'm not gonna lick you. Just
I tried to give her advice on. There's more to life than just going to clubs,
Please.
drinking, getting high,
Please.
all that stuff. And she continued to.
That's what I'm laying on you. You're comfortable.
But she just kept on going back to the whole thing of, oh, then you're old.
See, that's what happened last year. Because Trevor's birthday last year, I had to ask him to help with help for flags because it was literally just me and my mother. We went to go see Zach to help him with something. We came back briefly, and she's like, "Oh, good, we can start the party." I was like, no, we're gonna go do flags." She's like, "Oh, I thought you already did them." No, it takes more than just 10 minutes to go do flags, dummy. So we were gone till close to 9 that night. We came back. She was just like, "Oh well, this."
No, she didn't do that. She freaked out, going like, "It's too late to party now" and all that. And I'm like, "We didn't have to party. I mean, yeah, drinking's fun and all, but it's not everything."
I was slightly concussed because she threw a fucking can of Febreze at my head,
Yeah.
and so alcohol did not taste right to me. But no, yeah, she was freaking the hell out, and I told her, "It's like we don't need to do this." And she's like, "Well, you guys are just boring. If I wanted to have a If I didn't want to drink, then I just go party with 14-year-olds.
No, she said the other age, like 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds.
No, she said 14-year-olds.
And there she is wanting kids to drink. Hell, she even made the comment one time that kids should have sex with kids. Pissed me the hell off. I'm all like, that's an adult activity. She's like, no. Adults having sex with kids is wrong, but kids having sex with kids because in our town, we had an incident where a teacher caught two kids going at it.
That's your boy.
And I'm all like, a kid should not even know what that is. Granted, I'm pretty sure I don't know a single person who doesn't already know what that is whenever
Me.
they're
Me.
younger.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Boy,
No,
go back to your rabbit hole, sir.
no, but it was just.
She had a very twisted sense of what was right and what was wrong. And if you took pictures, like actual pictures, frames, and didn't use social media all that much, she called you a boomer. If you didn't think that all there was to life was social media or being popular, you were
Popular.
old.
Gonna be
It's
popular.
like if you didn't want to drink, if you didn't want to go clubbing or get high, you were bored. Like she just thought with the mind of the most immature person I had ever met.
What the hell is
And
this?
for 4 years,
Keep going.
I tried to. I tried to be her friend and try to show her that there's more to life than just drinking and clubbing and getting high. That there's spending time with the ones you care about, going out, bowling, movies, going out to the mall for fun, going, just doing anything, any activity, going to a damn rage room if you felt like destroying stuff, going to escape rooms, and
I like that.
it just seemed like she didn't want to do none of that. She just wanted to do the stuff that makes dumb decisions.
Yeah, and we tried multiple times to get her on that path because even for his birthday, she just was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna party, we're gonna drink." No, we're not. Sorry, we're gonna do this without you. And she got all pissy. We didn't even tell her for my birthday. We legit did not. But I'll let you take the floor. Talk about how it was whenever you first moved in, and then all the events leading up to you leaving, and everything that's gone for you now. And then I'll talk about everything for me.
I basically already summed up the gist of it.
Oh, in that case, my turn then?
It's like the only thing that is that I'm not as stressed out as I used to be because it seemed like no matter how isolated I try to be from her, it didn't work. Her negativity just spread like a damn virus, and
It got worse afterwards because it just, as soon as they walked in, emotionally drained.
yeah, there's two things I don't deal with. It's immaturity and stupidity. Now, yes, I can be immature at times. Everybody can be. But there's a good type of immature and there's a bad type of immature. She was all the bad part.
She was always the bad parts.
Like hell, sometimes you gotta be a kid. Sometimes you gotta. It's funny and it's good to release that child within, but
Don't
when,
do that.
whenever
Don't do that.
sometimes you gotta stop being an adult for
Can't release that child within.
yes. What? Oh my goodness.
I'm having too much fun with the damn laugh track.
But no, there's a good type of immaturity and a bad type.
There's not a lot of bubble gum. Ow! Too hard! Yes, it was. We've had drinks. That's why I said never the face. Yeah, I agree with Nikki. She's childish, not childlike.
Yeah, childish. We gotta be childish.
Mel,
It does smell like bubble gum.
He's Big Red in the Tennessee Fire. Tastes like bubblegum too.
No, I'm glad we got out of there
I
because
am too.
Trevor, I love him to death, but there was a time where I had to put my emotions aside and keep him from.
We ain't talking about that night.
I'm not talking about that night. I'm talking about when he almost beat the hell out of her.
Oh, that night. Okay, yeah. I
had
was
to
going to say,
put
I'm going
my-
to talk about the other night briefly.
I literally had to put my anger aside in order to keep him in check because there was a point where he would have
Right there. Oh my God.
hurt her. And there were times I came close to it too, but
There was times too for me.
I don't like. There's two things I don't like, or no, three things. I don't approve of hitting women, hitting children,
Or animals.
or animals. Now, giving them a spanking, that's different. But actually abusing them.
So, to tell you also how fucked up this person was, this is a very sensitive topic, so you asshole farted near my head.
That was a late reaction, sir.
So, this is a huge trigger warning, so I do apologize. But this chick raped me.
Yeah, we were all.
I got crossed for the very first time. And yeah, she
came in the living room where he was sleeping.
and she grabbed my feet, and it was not nice. And she did shit to me. And this
couldn't do nothing about it.
this chick, it literally was like, whenever we were arguing about her cat, she brought up things, and that was brought up for rape. And she always denies that she did it. She's like, "Oh yeah, women can't rape guys."
Yes, they can.
Yes, they
If
can.
it's not consensual and the guy can't stop it, then yes, it is rape.
And she is one of those that flat out said, "Yeah, well, I like rape."
Yeah. I once suggested to her, I was like, what? She wanted to go on trips with guys she never met. Never met except for talking to online. And she wanted to go to different states with them and stuff. And I was like, what happens?
Different states, mind you, that we previously were talking about, and then we couldn't go, and we knew that she was going just to rub it in our face,
Yeah.
especially Louisiana.
Yep. Because I actually lived there from the time I was 8 to 15. Beautiful place. Very chaotic, but very beautiful. Very macabre, but awesome history. So definitely something that catches people's interest. But yeah, she wanted to do all that, and I brought up the subject of what if they drug you or something and then decide to take advantage of you or something. She was like, well, at least I'd be having fun. I'm like,
Yeah, no.
if you didn't want it to happen and you were drugged to take, you couldn't stop it or nothing. And she had no qualms about it. Like, she didn't care.
She is that kind of fucked up. This is why we are giving you this warning. Do not be around these kind of people. It is not good for your health.
It's toxicity.
In a city. Sorry, I like this song a lot.
Like, it's bad enough when people have their own baggage, whether it's psychotic in nature, trauma, PTSD,
Okay.
all those types of things. Things that if you've ever gone through a hard time and it sticks with you, whether it's an regret or something that really, really hurt you,
Oh yeah.
and
Not to get into that part
you
too.
go around people like that, it pushes you over the edge to the point where you don't even recognize yourself.
That's why. That's the
What was that? You are weird, sir.
My brain did
Your
not.
brain
My
just
brain.
glitched. Your brain just glitched.
Anyways, that's why I'm glad that we had our fight. We had a huge fight, but I'm glad that we made it up because I can't lose you. You've seen and known and heard too much, and I'm glad that I have you back in my life. I'm glad that we're doing this. This is what we've needed. So this kind of now, I guess, segues into my whole point for where I stand on that matter, why I moved out of my parents' house, and the other important topic of the night. So, um, as I said, I lived at my parents' house. I've lived there for years. I am about to turn 24 this September. The rent was fairly cheap, everything else, and it worked for a while. I was like, cool. This is fine. All my cats live here. It's great. Well, essentially, yes, I was. And with my sister moving out before I did, and I had plans after I moved out of my brother moving out. Had I stayed, I would have been the only one there, and it would have just been more torturous for me. I would have just lost my mind.
He would have too.
But as I said, I love my parents. My parents are nice people, and they the way they raised me is the way that should have been is the way that I'm proud to have been raised. They're fair. My punishments have always been fair, and yeah, my parents raised me to be a good person.
Mm-hmm.
I am a good person when I'm not touching your ass. Shut the
Okay,
fuck up.
Klepto.
Shut up. That's because my ADHD.
No, he's a good person, but he
You
has
know
his
damn well I don't do that often.
He's got the
I got those wandering hands sometimes.
he's got that diva side to him.
Sorry, from the wandering hands. I wanted to touch your feet. Anyways, as I said, I wanted to move out, and I've talked about it for years about moving out. And I was like, I want my own music room, everything. I want to make music again. And yeah, so it ties into another thing too, because as I said, I was going to move out, just not here. And we'll come back to this topic later. We'll come back to this topic later.
Say about that person.
Yeah, I know. So do I. I want to say about that person.
But I will give a shout out to my twin. She got me a start to do art again. I thought I lost my artistic.
You're autistic?
No, well, I am autistic, but we're all autistic.
Okay.
No.
Woman?
No.
Yes, you were.
You
Why?
are.
We all were at one point.
Do not use my logic against me. I use that for personally, sir.
Drink the honey one.
But
Drink the honey one.
don't tell me what to do. You gotta do it.
Actually, no, put that one back. Drink the Pendleton. You like the Pendleton. Drink the Pendleton. No, I was going to drink a damn one.
You tell me what to do.
Okay, go ahead. I don't know. I'm probably make another one of these that tastes like bubblegum.
No, she got me into art and relit that creative spark that I had lost.
Here.
Hell, I actually got into writing. Finally wrote the first chapter of my book.
Also, as you all know, I do write. I recently have, since we have a typewriter, I got back into it and I've retconned the story again.
You wrote about absence.
And yeah, so I'm working on that again, and I'm very excited because I'm actually going to publish it when it's done. So back to conversation. As we talked about 2 years ago with our abusers. Actually, no, not even then. It was It was like after that whole incident with them, and we stopped being friends with them, and blah blah blah. We've talked about this before. Me and Nick, we had our differences. We had a big fight, huge fight, and I stayed away for a good year. And I was like, I'm not gonna block them. They want to come talk to me. They know where I live. They know how to reach me. Was it Trevor's birthday?
No, it was right after mine.
Yeah. Okay. So it was close to. Oh yeah, it's close to his dad's birthday.
His dad's birthday is in January.
Not birthday. Death date.
No, his birthday was like in January or something. After my birthday.
The big story thing. The drinking one. When he got emotional.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Towards his dad's death day.
Yeah, that one. Anyways, Trevor's father passed years ago, and so one night we were like, fuck it, we're free for a couple days, so let's just drink. And we got smashed. And some of them got too smashed, where Nick's emotions were turned off, and they're getting forced back on. That bitch said stupid things.
She told me to kill her because
No. So Trevor, love him to death, but he gets a little bit aggressive. We all get aggressive to kill. That's why we don't touch the shit. But he, he was trying to get Nick to calm down. His options for that is
no, it wasn't that. Well,
yes, it was.
it was that,
But his way of doing it is by hitting. Am I wrong?
well, if you let me finish.
No, you can't finish. No, you got an edge.
No,
Laughter track.
no, I'm psychotic.
Okay.
Um,
Why don't you put why don't you put the lid back on my vodka?
because I'm gonna finish it.
No, the fuck you are. I'm gonna finish.
No, I'm gonna finish it. But I'm psychotic. Due to years of abuse from my actual mother as a child, multiple beatings and stuff left me violent, rageful, cracked psyche, all that good stuff. And I don't have the ability to feel like regular people do. And when I do feel it, I don't know whether it's something that I learned over the years or if it's actually real.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to cough.
But that night when we were drinking, he was getting emotional. And
I didn't want to go into full detail, but
I'm not going to go into that part.
I just wanted to say, because he was trying to get you to calm down.
Well, I'm telling how that ended up happening.
That's what, yeah.
But he ended up hugging me and not letting me go even though I told him to.
He got wasted.
And he forced my emotions just like a freaking light switch. And when that happened,
This is where
my mental health just
crashed. And this is where I come back in because I was asleep.
Yeah, my psychotic side took over and I started
He grabbed my foot. Unfortunately for
I was
him.
trying to wake him up. I was curled up in a position.
Hold on. Unfortunately, when he grabbed my foot, I was in the chair that the bitch grabbed my foot in. And so I got immediate flashbacks. And had I been sleeping on my other side, my knife would have came out because I was in that state of lockdown where I couldn't move. And I got up and I was yelling.
Yeah, it was. Christian is the only one that has ever been able to relate to me whenever it comes to that type of behavior. I couldn't think straight. I was rapidly turning into something I didn't want to be.
He said some words.
Yeah.
He didn't mean them because we were drunk. And I yelled at him. And we made amends. But the bitch kept telling him over and over, "Oh, well, just kill me, just do it. I'm worthless, I'm not gonna." And Trevor was drunk, and he would not get away from me. And I'm like, I need you to get away from me for your own safety, because I'm overstimulated. I went outside to calm down. He tried following me. I was like, no, you're gonna stay in here because if not, something's going to happen, and the cops will be called. So he stayed in. She finally went to her room, and after I came back in, I sent him outside to calm down, and then I calmed Nick down. Mind you, it's like 5 in the goddamn morning. I had to be up and ready by 7 to walk home to go to work at 8 with my mother. And yeah, by the time me and Nick had our little session to calm him down, it was 6. We got Trevor in. He was stumbling and bumbling, and it took us a minute to get him. And he was hunched over the trash can. He wasn't gonna puke. He was just crying in the trash can, hugging it like a dear old friend. And he's like, I can't move. And so we picked his ass up and we carried him to bed. We just threw him on his bed. He's like, good night. And we're like, good night. And then Nick went to bed, and then I left that day. Because it was already 6 o'clock whenever that all happened. It's like, I'm going home. I didn't even tell them bye or anything. I was like, I'm probably gonna leave. I won't be here whenever you get up. And I think that they thought I meant like, oh yeah, I'm gonna leave like in an hour. But as soon as I heard Nick's door shut, I waited like a minute to 2 minutes, and then I gathered up my shit and I left. But that was a very rough night, and
It's like you can't. Whenever it comes to psychopaths, you can't just flip their emotions on like that because we don't have the
we don't know.
we don't have the stability to handle that. It just drives us into a
Frenzy.
I don't want to say frenzy, but in a fragile state between
Fragile?
doing something really bad or
Fragile? Do you mean fragile? Escape.
because I think if Christian had been there, I might have actually have hurt her because I do have those types of tendencies.
And we're gonna leave it there.
Rage. Sir, rage.
We're gonna leave it there so we don't get demonetized. So,
I was just gonna say, if you ever have anger issues, turn to your closest friend.
that's one thing I agree with because I've been the therapist and I help and it's great.
And the funny thing is, whenever he has his meltdowns,
I go straight to him.
it's funny. No matter the mental disability you have, or the
Whether it be ADHD, autism,
or the psychotic tendencies, any of that,
Give my fucking chip cook, please.
it's
I need my chip cook.
it's your friends that can make a difference between whether or not you stay strong or you let yourself turn into something that you don't want to.
Quack.
Quack, quack, quacker. Oh, how's that racist? Oh my goodness. Okay.
So, back to the conversation. As I said, before we had our split, I was.
Banana split?
I wish. It has nuts on it, and I'm allergic. I could die.
I don't see how whatever you put them in your mouth.
Stop! Anyways, so, whenever we're talking about all this crap, like, oh yeah, whenever we all met, I was being nice to her, and then, after our big fight, I didn't talk to her and everything. As soon as I came back, I apologized, all that crap, blah, blah, blah.
You know the funniest thing? I don't know if I mentioned this in previous live streams because I kind of have a short-term memory loss thing. If I don't
Dory
focus on
ass
something,
motherfucker.
it's like a stone that you throw in water. It ripples and then it's gone.
Dory ass motherfucker.
But not that bad. I can remember important stuff. But
Yeah, it only took you 2 years to remember my goddamn birthday.
No, actually, I remember yours right off the bat, sir. That was Trevor. September 7th. What year? 2001.
Sure. Continue.
But me and Christian were
Ooh.
terrified of each other in high school.
I'm getting the tinglies.
I was in the tinglies. I was labeled as the school serial killer. Everybody thought that I was broody, I was seclusive, I went after bullies, and I was not nice to them.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, and it's always nice to retouch base.
And Christian was labeled as a school shooter, dressed just because he always wore the same long ass trench coat you could hide a shotgun under. And sometimes he would put his musical instrument inside that coat so it looked like he was actually carrying a gun.
Well, I had big instruments too, so it didn't help my case. But
It did not.
So-
And we were terrified of each other for some reason.
oh yeah, but no, as I said, so yeah, after that whole conversation, yeah, Valentine's Day, she and Bree had come over, Zach had come over, and Bree had come over as well because they were gonna make food, and then they were gonna dip. Well, Serena came out, found out Bree was over there, and was like, "Oh yeah, you're so horrible, friend, because you didn't come in there and check on me and anything." Like, she doesn't have to. She was cooking for her and her husband and us.
Yeah, we were letting her use our kitchen.
And yeah, it got so bad, Bree left the house in tears. Zach left the house checking on her. I left the house because I couldn't deal with her bullshit. Nick sat her down and talked to her about everything. Like, you need to stop being a bitch.
I was like, that is not okay. You are not the center of their world. They have other things to do. They have their own life.
Nick, we're out of whipped cream vodka.
Damn it.
I told you I was going to finish it. I downed that.
But
Thank you.
the fact of that she expected them to put everything before.
We have 0 viewers. I guess people
put
fell
her
asleep.
before.
Keep going. I don't care. I'm still going live.
No, she expected
Ah, my
her
butt.
to be put. Stop moving. No,
I can't. I like to move it.
she wanted everybody to put her before everything else, and it just I don't get how. I don't get why. It was like she wasn't a child. She was a grown adult, but she couldn't do the simplest of things by
Shots
herself.
fired.
Yes.
So,
She was a kid trapped in a woman's body.
as I said, we
Not in the good way.
we literally I'm like Nick told her, like, look, he's not messing with you. Don't interact with him. So Zach stayed the night one night, and she came out in the living room and was was in the kitchen and was messing around with stuff and woke him up. And so I just calmly suggested, like, maybe you should tell her that, past midnight, because we knew her sleep schedule was fucked. We told her maybe past midnight you should just stay in your room. She came out there and dressed all of us. She's like, hey, guys, I'm thinking that maybe only the people that live here should have a fucking say. And the situations that are taken care of, I was like, it's already been taken care of. She looked at me and she's like, I'm not talking to you. I'm like, the situation already been taken care of. And she's like, I'm not talking to you. I was like, you addressed all of us.
Someone you know.
We're talking about the bitch.
No. I'm not talking to you.
Kinda.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to put that connection. But
Who? Oh, wait, let me mute. Where's my mute? Where's my mute, Gordon? Muted it. Wait. Something ain't right here, Gordon.
do you not know what the mute button is?
I hit the mute button. The thing was still going, see? Ah! Fuck it, just text it. Anyways, as I said, we literally were in such a state. We just,
Boy, I told her it's common courtesy. They're sleeping in the living room. How would you like it when you're disturbed? She didn't like it when we woke her up. And yet, just because it didn't apply to her, she wanted to make everybody else miserable.
Yeah.
Like, courtesy and manners was out the window.
that bitch doesn't know any of them. But no, like, we legit. It was a rough. Babe, if you're in the chat, please send. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But I'm not going to talk about that kid. I love him. Baby, if you're in the chat, please put a heart.
I love him too.
I love you. Please put it hard.
He's a cool kid. But I just.
But
Whenever
yeah,
you
no,
said that,
we
I was
have.
like, that reminds me.
Oh my god, yeah, I didn't even make that connection. I hate that now. Anyways, so yeah, it was horrible. This bitch also like whenever I'm over, she would ask Nick and Trevor, "Hey, I'm about to DoorDash food." While like in the living room right in front of me, I'm about to DoorDash food. Do you guys want some? When I was gonna cook dinner for them too, and also that crap, and they're like, no, like if they had food before we arrived, that's different because
I always went along the thing of if you're gonna DoorDash something or get food, have the courtesy to get it for someone else too, because then you're eating food they don't know what to have or they don't have access to something, and they're just having to watch you eat and
that's the
enjoy your
thing.
meal.
That's the thing. It's like
It's another common courtesy which someone that we live here does do that.
if we did that, like this is the thing.
Not
Had
courtesy.
had it been like oh yeah, we already ordered food before you showed up, that's one thing. Like even if they placed the food and it arrived whenever I showed up, stop it, quit. I don't like this. I don't like that. Oh, you're covering one ear and covering this. You're gonna cover both
Really?
ears. Yes, you had this and this, and you weren't covering both ears. I don't like that.
Don't
puke.
don't puke.
I don't like that.
Really?
Yes.
What's it feel like?
Your hands are hot.
Really?
Yes. I don't like it. That's fine, but you had one for one here. I didn't like that. I don't know. We're drinking. It's a hot house. There's no central heating or AC.
Maybe it's just
Probably. Anyways, but no,
what you were talking about.
As I said, had before I showed up, they ordered food and the food was arriving whenever I got there. That's understandable. Or even like, oh yeah, we ordered food and they were eating it before we got there. Also understandable. Coming out there asking in front of everyone, oh yeah, hey, I'm about to order food. Do you want any? That's fucked up.
That is.
So yeah, but
You know what this butt naked candle smells like?
put my goddamn candle
It
down.
smells like puppy breath.
Put my candle down. Why the fuck are you lighting it? Because we're drinking, we're gonna forget to put it out and we'll burn the house down. I will.
I've never been that
I give you.
incoherent.
I'm at the lighter. Relight it.
I've never been that incoherent in my life while drinking. Even though I get severely drunk, I still remember everything and still somehow manage to
So, as I said,
go through everything I needed.
I gave her multiple chances,
So did I over a course of 4 years.
and after that little fiasco, I was done. I legit stopped talking to her unless I absolutely needed to.
That's what I did the last few months that I was there. I told her I am done. Your behavior towards everybody who tried to be your friend is atrocious. It's distasteful. It's disgusting, and quite frankly, it's pathetic.
So
So I stopped talking to her completely.
after her last freak out,
Oh, let me tell you what she did right before we moved. She stood outside waiting for me and Trevor to get to the house. She stayed outside all day just for that, and she looked fine whenever we pulled up. Then she would start crying and just look at us and watch us as we went in and out of the house. And I'm like, I walked past both times and I didn't even nudge it. I'm like, no, we're not doing this.
and that's the thing. Is like we literally got to the point too. It's like, I had to go get my shit because her fucking breakdown.
I remember that day.
I didn't get all my shit in the first go, so I had to go back for it. And she had come in. Now she was in her room, and then she was whining to Trevor with her fake fucking crocodile tears. She's like, "Trevor, are we still friends?" And then this random guy knocked on the door. She immediately stopped. On her way back to her room, She just says, "Oh yeah, Christian. By the way, you have 5 minutes to get all your shit and get out, or else I'm gonna call the cops." I let her have it. I chewed her ass out, and she's like, "You have a minute. You have a few seconds before I call the cops." She hates the cops. When she went
The
to
cops wouldn't have done anything anyway because he was a guest on our turn.
when she went to New York or whatever, she had a mental breakdown because they went past cops, and she's like, "Bobo," she legit was like freaking the fuck out and had a mental breakdown. I'm like, I want you to call the cops. Oh, I'd send them suspect her so fast because she's a child predator. Her quote unquote brother is not 14, 16-year-old, but the shit they talk about is not something a 16-year-old boy should be talking to with an older woman. It's mainly sexual shit.
Yeah. No, he might be 15. I don't know.
I don't know, but it is not right.
It's very fun. It's disturbing.
But yeah. And so I'm like, yeah, do it. I will send their ass back to you so fast. I will let them know about the child predator you are.
And she started coming at him. And
She did.
I
And
threw out my arm to stop her. She was like, "Get the fuck out of my way, Nick." I was like, "Don't you fucking dare."
he grabbed her.
I grabbed her by the back of her neck and spun her around. I was like,
He also put her in a chokehold, and it wasn't a very tight
No, I
one.
didn't put her in a chokehold. I
No,
just grabbed
it was
her.
another night. It was another time.
That was Trevor.
No, it was you.
It was me.
Yes, you put her in a chokehold. It was a very loose. No, it was Trevor.
Yeah, it was Trevor.
It was a very loose
I
chokehold.
don't do chokeholds.
As I said, it was a very loose one because I could fit my arm through there, and I could move it around, so I knew it was that big. And she was just, I can't breathe, and she could breathe. There was no pressure, nothing. It was just to get her attention and get the fuck out.
No, but I did her like mom dogs do puppies and cats do kids. I grabbed her by the back of her neck and spun her around. I was like, "You're not gonna fucking do this."
I called her a fucking bitch, and I grabbed my shit and left. But had he not blocked her ass, the bottle of vodka that we were just talking about, it was more than halfway full.
It's a plastic bottle.
It's a plastic bottle. I would have let her charge at me. I would have whacked her upside the goddamn head just to shut her up for a bit. Baby, if you're in the chat, please put a heart. I miss you.
But I was not having it. As much as I can't say that I haven't had moments where my anger hasn't won out, but as much as she probably deserved it, I tried to keep everybody in line whenever it came to that.
Oh, that's the thing. I don't like getting violent,
I don't either.
especially not with women. I do not like doing that ever.
I was like, I've always had anger issues, but I've always been able to keep it in check to the point where I take it out on something that isn't someone I care about or even a person in general.
Well, as I said, though, at least now we're not drinking for the wrong reasons, just to ignore the pain and actually try to feel joy. We haven't drank as much. Like, it used to be, like, essentially every day kind of thing. And then we had a big talk, and we lowered it down to, like, oh, yeah, if we're going to drink, it's going to be, a little bit here and there. And if we're drinking together, it's going to be like, oh, yeah, we're not going to get hammered every time. I know it's Snapchat. But I'm like, we are going to we haven't drank that much. We've drank occasionally just for like shits and grins.
Special occasions mostly. Otherwise, it's just like here and there, just a drink or two.
Yeah, and I think like tonight is the only night that we've actually had more than a couple drinks.
I'm on my third one.
This is my third one.
It's already 1:30.
Yeah, I know. As I said, this one is my third one and my last one. And it does count as my third one because that was technically a whole drink. So, as I said, I did not want them left alone with her. And our other friend Zach, I didn't want him left alone where he was. We have 2 viewers. Baby, if you're one of them, put a heart, please.
You know, the funny thing is that back to the topic about the whole kid giving a sugar high while the high, she later on denied it and said she never told her that. And Bree showed me the messages as well as the fact of I recorded the conversation of her admitting it.
Yeah.
I recorded the whole damn thing because I wanted.
She's a liar.
Yeah, she liked to cover her own ass.
So, as I said, we went back and forth about all this. It's like, I want you guys to get out of here before I leave, and we are gonna find them a place and everything. As I said,
So shortly after.
it got so bad. It got to the point where after we found this place, and I said, "Oh yeah, I'll come over there and help you guys move your shit out." I was not allowed to go into the house.
Yeah, she had basically put a virtual restraining order on him.
And that's the thing too, is like, had I gone in the house, her calling the cops would have done nothing because one, she had no actual restraining order, and two, I was invited by y'all to help y'all.
Exactly, but her mom, who was our landlord, said that he wasn't, so we couldn't exactly go to that because we were still trying to get the place, and until then, we couldn't risk getting kicked out. But
Yep.
as soon as this place opened up, we started going for it. Christian backed out a few times.
I backed out a few times only because of stupid reasons.
Yes, which we'll get into here in a little bit.
So
And,
Zach. So originally the plan was Zach was going to be the head of the household. It's going to be Zach, me, Nick, Tree, and then Zach's friend. I backed out, and then I came back in, and Zach's friend backed out because she's like, the room that I was going to be in, which is our office, and the room she was going to be in, which is our music room, there is a glass door in between them. Or a door with glass windows, and she's like, "Oh, that's not enough privacy." Even though we would have covered the door,
locked the door so we couldn't go through it,
and everything. And yeah, so she backed out, and then Zach backed out, and
then he came back into it just as me,
and
Christian, and Trevor.
no. He backed out, and then me, Nick, and Trevor all had the conversation of, "Are we going to do this?" Yes. Cool. Then we're gonna cover it like this, and we're gonna do it like this, and we all agreed. Each of us gets one bill. I get internet,
I get gas,
and Trevor gets electric, and we agreed on that. And then, out of the kindness of my heart, I didn't want Zach to be left where his parents are. We have two viewers. I don't think it's my partner. I would like to see my partner's chat. He might be dozing.
Yeah,
but as I said, I asked him. I was like, hey, even if it's for like a year, I'd like you to come with us because I don't want you here anymore at your parents' house. And so yeah, we did that. But yeah, we played that card, and we moved in, and we've had some rough patches here and there. We're not going to get into those because that's our personal business about those. And I know I share a lot, but this is a personal business thing that we've resolved together as roommates, and there's no need to bring up that stuff. So it's fine. But as I said, we've had some hiccups here and there. One of the major hiccups that we do have, it's no one else's fault, is the fact that we don't have a washer, we don't have a dryer, we don't have a stove.
So we cook on a griddle.
We cook on a goddamn griddle. We go to my partner's house to borrow her stove.
Yeah, and then we go to the laundromat for laundry.
Or use our tub.
Or use our tub. We can get to wash the stuff.
So, as I said, I moved out of my parents' house because I'm almost 24, and I was like, it's about time that I start doing this on my own. My very first time living alone, well, roughly alone, was not a good time. I was in the negatives by a good 1,000 because I was on my own for the first time, and it was weird. And so I told my mom, I was like, I'm doing this because I know I can do this now, and it's not going to be like last time. And I was like, I actually trust myself now more than I did, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, somewhere in that ballpark. More so because these guys also keep me in check, and I've been very better with money management. I've been a lot better than I was in college. Trust me. I'm not blowing upwards of close to $3,000 a month with money I don't have.
I gotta give you credit. You and that laugh track.
I like that damn laugh track. It's fun. No, but as I said, I told my mom, I was like, I trust myself this time, and so far I've been great. It's
We've been here close to 2 months now.
no, we have been here 2 months because
Yeah, the end of April. Yeah, sorry.
because we paid the second month's rent on today,
Yeah.
not today,
Not today.
not
The
today.
second.
But no, this time we actually got done early.
Oh, yeah, the first.
No, before the first. Yes, I took it. I took it that Saturday before the first. Because the first was the Monday. We've been very good with our rent, but as I said, the internet took us a bit longer, and I do apologize for that. But now we have it here. But stop. That feels kind of weird. I actually didn't like that. Yeah, it felt weird, and I felt like it was gonna fall.
Oh, it activated your Virgo.
Yeah, and I didn't like that. Please stop. I don't want to puke. That's fine. Actually, don't touch me right now. You touched the side of my butt, and now it's like weird. And
That's the side of your butt.
you were touching here. That's my butt. Now the vertigo is going. It's weird.
What the? Oh,
No, please stop. Leave my head where it is.
okay.
Yeah, that just felt very weird. And I don't like the feeling I'm getting right now. So this drink is my last drink for the night. I can't do like 5 drinks anymore.
So you became major.
Well, we haven't had to drink as heavy.
True.
Anyways, so fuck off, damn fly. Taste it. No, you smelled it. It's great. It's really good. No, so this brings me to my next point. Shut the fuck up. Just for that, get a laugh track. Can I get a laugh track and a cheer for my man? Thank you. I don't know which one that was. I gotta find that one.
You gotta find it.
I don't know what button is. Anyways,
Button, who's got the
so
got an X. Is that where we're going?
yeah, I'm trying to think about this because it's not just the X thing. There's a lot.
This stream like event type
This
stream.
is event. This is definitely event stream.
Everything that we've needed to get out over the past year. So
Well, not even the past year. The past couple months.
we're just letting it out. Other streams will most likely be more happier.
Oh no, that's the
less
thing.
serious.
That's the thing. Most of the streams that we're doing for the gaming shit
Yeah.
is going on Twitch.
Okay.
YouTube is my home for music and stories. So yeah, and random updates here and there, or if we're gonna do podcasts. But yes, that's gonna be on here. That's gonna be a live event. Give me a second. I'm finishing my drink. God, that was so good. I know what I'm gonna make next.
That was your last.
No, not next. This is my next drink. I mean, next drink. I do at some point later on. Well, the thing is, you have to let it sit for a while to get it to taste like that. Otherwise, just boom. So, as many of you know, this is the serious part for me. As many of you know, I was in a relationship with a woman since pandemic 2020 who lived in France, and as many of you also know, 2023. No. no, last year, 2024, I went down there for the first time and I proposed. And you know, we were supposed to hit 5 years this year. Um, fuck a duck. A year after we hit the 1 year anniversary mark for us getting engaged, um, she had demanded I call at work. I had just clocked back in. Did you fucking throw a coin?
Yeah.
Okay, do not fucking do that. You scared the shit out of me. So, my partner, my former partner, demanded that.
The one he loves right now.
We're getting to that. My former partner demanded that either I move down to France immediately or we break up. And because she viewed I wasn't fighting for her. She viewed I didn't care, but that's not true.
He was actually gonna do it too.
I almost made the stupid decision of because we did split for a day. And no, because the original option was either we open the relationship up or we split. Because we had already technically opened it up roughly because we were sleeping around with people and filming it with protection. And she was getting more people than I was. And then she was getting paid, and I didn't like that. That was not what we agreed for. And I told her this multiple times, and she's like, okay, I'll stop. And she continued doing so. And then it only became about the money. And yeah, her family essentially prostituted her out for money. And I didn't like it. So we had multiple talks about everything, and I was like, it needs to stop. Well, I got so swamped with everything, because at the time I was introduced to the house, and I was like, I want to get them out of that place because their bitch of an ex roommate, things had just gotten so much worse, and I couldn't go over, I couldn't see them, I missed seeing them. They could come over to my place, but I couldn't go over to theirs. I was like, this sucks. So I was like, I'm trying to help them. Our original agreement and plan was I was going to move in with them for a couple years, build my money up, get stable, so that way I'm not going over there with nothing. Because the way I was raised was, don't just be a bum, pay where you can, help out as you can. Not just, oh yeah, you're gonna stay here free until you can find a job. And everyone else here understood that. But her and her family did not. They're like, I know that, but her and her family like, oh yeah, that does make sense. We're offering you to stay here. You don't have to help anything, blah blah blah. So it just got so to the point where after we split for a couple hours and we fixed it, the very same night, my sister calls me. Yeah, she had him and Zach sat me down. We had a
No, not even exactly. I pulled him over to sat him down, and I actually told him to think about what he was doing.
because I flat out told her that I would leave out by May.
And I was all like, what happened? I listed out all the cons. What happens if she don't make it and she decides that she wants to get here over there with no family, no friends,
No money.
no money, no place to stay, no way for us to get to. What if she decides she still wants to see these other guys and we're not okay with that?
Because that was the agreement. As soon as I got over there, it ends. The open thing, everything. So, literally,
I got him to think about a lot of stuff.
after all that, my sister called me and she said essentially the same shit. And the very next day, I told her, I cannot do this anymore.
if you're in love with something, you're in love with you're not gonna make them choose like that. It's either this or that.
Because
You were a couple, you were a team.
here's the thing. I know most of you that are thinking this. Oh, why not just have her come down here? I asked her.
She didn't want to.
I asked her multiple times. She is a dual citizen. The paperwork for her moving back down here would have been way easier than me, who's not a citizen over there, to move over there. I brought it up to her multiple times. I'm like, hey, you're a dual citizen. This would be so much easier. And she's like, no, I'm good. Thank you. And she's like, the states are a bad place. Blah, blah, blah.
And she wanted him to sacrifice everything for her, but she wouldn't sacrifice anything for him, which I thought was bullcrap.
Yeah.
And I was in a lot of toxic relationships, so
It's almost 2 a.m.
so whenever I saw what she was doing to him, I said, "Dude, you gotta break this."
So, as I said, my sister talked to me about it the same night. And I told her, I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I'll try to be friends with you, but one night I was doing a makeup reset for my weekend job and then everything else. And that
No, she tried to guilt trip.
makeup reset took me a. That thing was supposed to take. That thing took us 9.5 hours, and I did the audio thing in a half an hour. She literally was going off on me saying, why wasn't I enough for you? Why, blah, blah, all this bullshit. And I've been the one that was always near her. I was the one that was on call with her at night. So I just sent her a fucking meme photos like, I'm silly with his eyes open, like, ooh, and says, and just said, why wasn't I good enough for you? Because she kept asking me, why wasn't she good enough for me? I was like, why wasn't I good enough for you? After that, I blocked her ass on everything. Everything. And then, of course, she realized that she lost me. I lost a friend who I was friends with for years. We fought, we made up, and then we fought again because she had chosen Rose's side, and that shit broke me. And I couldn't do it. So, yeah, I just told her, I told this former friend of mine, get the fuck out. I ain't gonna deal with toxic people, so leave. Sorry. Brain crashed for a moment. My body is trying to do the whole twitchy night sleep mode. I'm trying to fight it. But, as I said, Nick and my sister talked to me about this, and yeah, I listened, and I didn't want to listen.
Psychopath, I get really good at that.
Because, as I said, I did care. I gave her everything, and I was treated like shit.
And then he met my twin. Now, she's not really my twin, but me and her are so much alike. That's what we call each other. Where she's basically the opposite version of me. We're the exact same.
I'm not going up to my room. I'll need that cleared off, and I'll need you to bring me. I don't want to go to the office. I'm gonna crash on the couch. I just need you to bring me the great blanket from the office.
But it's funny because after his heart was broken and everything,
I was hurt for weeks, like 5-year long relationship kind of thing.
and then
that goes on, but I met Nikki, my new partner. She's the one in the chat in your face. I met her. Sorry, I met her, and we were just being friends, and I didn't, because I met her during the relationship, and I didn't think anything about it, and I didn't want to ask her to date because I didn't know if she was already taken or something, so I didn't ever ask. Until I found out she wasn't, and I found out other things that it's not our place to talk about. We're not going to talk about. But I calmly mentioned to her one night because she asked me to stay the night. I kindly mentioned something to her, and she's like, maybe.
Oh, there she is.
Baby! Can you send me another heart, please? Because I love you.
All wounds heal with the right one. I found mine about 2 years ago and I love it more than anything. I keep telling this woman, I keep telling her, Katie, I'm gonna marry you one day. And I will.
I'm fighting off did the body go. "Rrrr." Kisses from my partner. Laugh track for my twitchy twitch. Gunshot for your feet.
Smell it,
Oh, that was not gunshot. My bad. That's gunshot. That was din din.
Dude.
Anyways, no. As I said, I met my partner, and at the time we were just talking to be friends, and then I mentioned I was like, I love you too, honey. I was like, your son really needs a father figure in his life. I would gladly do it, a lavender wedding kind of thing, because two gay people getting married just for the benefits. So I would gladly do that, and then that turned into other things, actual relationship, and I've been so much happier the past few months, especially in the fact that one, she lives in town. Two, she is literally right behind me. Shut up. She lives in the places behind us, and I get to see her more than I get to see my ex. I love it so much. It's so much nicer. I need to shut up for a minute or else I'm going to start crying. I'm trying not to, but I just love her so much.
I know how I feel. Katie.
Fuck, I'm going to cry. Entertain them for a few minutes.
I'm Giggles the Clown.
Nope, I'll just entertain them for tears.
Wait. No, when you meet the right one, then you know it's real when it's real.
As I said, though, I met my partner. I've not looked back. I've enjoyed it so much.
You're a lot happier. You're not stressed out.
Oh, I am so much more happier.
Your ex, you were always stressed out. Toxic people aren't funny. Man, it's.
They're funny when they get hurt. Told to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's
Cough, cough, Serena. I am gonna cry. They love you so much. You're so nice. You're so sweet.
nice until you piss her off.
And then it's just a whole other issue.
It becomes a ooey gooey mess. But it's that gooey center that makes life worth living. Shows you're not just a hollow shell.
Anyways, as I said, I've been so much happier the past few months, and I don't regret anything.
Better not.
I did leave a former friend because, as I said, this person chose
Yeah, it chose his ex's side over his.
that she hardly knows my ex.
And this ex friend of his was actually an ex of mine. And she blamed me for our breakup. Funny enough, she blamed it on stuff that didn't even happen. I was like, she liked to fool around with other guys, still does. And she blamed it because she said that I was broke up with her because of her weight, but she was skinny, so I don't see why that would have been a problem.
I absolutely adore you.
I don't do weight. I look at the personality. If the personality's shitty, I'm gonna treat you like you're shitty. But yeah, the fact that she all these years later still said that I was the reason why we broke up, which I did everything for her.
She fat shamed him too.
Yeah, that shamed me because I'm a bigger guy. I'm a big teddy bear.
No, you're not. You're skinny as shit.
Boy, I'm fluffy.
And I love you just the way you are, bitch boy.
Everybody loves me just the way I am.
Cause you're a bitch.
That boy. Really?
I'm
But
drink.
You're drink. Okay,
Drunk.
Luke. I'm gonna call you Luke. No,
You spelled Luke wrong.
I'm gonna spell Luke wrong.
You spelled Luke wrong.
Luke? What?
Can't call me Luke.
I said Luke. Luke.
Yeah, you spelled Luke wrong.
Sir, you were drunk off your
Yeah, out your ass.
butt. No, that's you.
Shit, you right. Don't kiss me.
I'm not even
I
going
thought
towards
you were leaning
you.
in to kiss.
What the hell?
I got very scared because you moved closer and I thought you were gonna go.
I was looking at the screen. Twin, your boy ain't okay.
I haven't drank Zambi in a while.
You should know.
I thought you were gonna kiss my forehead.
I ain't gonna do that either. No. I'm sorry, but I don't have a game mode in my body like that.
Anyways, but no, as I said, I was just fed up with the shit.
We were all.
So
We got away from it.
we did. And we're in our own little place, and I'm so much happier.
Yeah. Same here.
Anyways, I hate to dip and run, but
He means drink and run.
I am.
Cuckoo. He's feeling it, Mr. Krabs. So this is where we're gonna end the session. Hope y'all enjoyed our ranting and raving. Don't forget to end your session, sir. Well, I guess you get to hear him fart and all that good stuff. And then, she sent you kissy face. Bob ain't here. Stop choking. God dang it, made me spill my drink. I'm sure to clean up. It sounds like fucking Donald Duck. Okay, anyways.
I'm sorry, everyone, but no, I'm gonna let down finish. But no, as I said, I am so much happier in my current relationship.
He better. I told him if he ever mistreats my twin, I'll kick his ass. She'll kick his ass. You would go there, you rabbit.
Yes, my word. Godly weird.
Oh, what is that? Good night, everybody. You've been a wonderful audience. Fuck yeah. I love you, twin. You're awesome. I'm gonna end the session for you. Well, you better get done, sir. He loves you, Nikki. Huh? I'm gonna end the session first. All right.